Ever found yourself carrying more than your fair share of burdens? Let me introduce you to a hardworking employee named Samir. He's not your average Joe. Samir's dedication to his work is commendable. Day in, day out, he's always there, ready to lend a hand, never grumbling, never turning down a task. His colleagues noticed this. They saw his unwavering commitment, his willingness to carry the load, and they began to lean on him. Samir became their go-to guy. Got an urgent report to finish? Pass it to Samir. Need to prepare for a big presentation? Samir's your man. And it wasn't just his peers. Management too began to depend on Samir. Task after task, project after project, Samir accepted them all with a smile. His willingness to take on responsibilities, his readiness to carry the load, made him indispensable. And so Samir found himself bearing the brunt of everyone's responsibilities, just like a willing horse. Imagine carrying the weight of not just your tasks, but those of others as well. This is the story of Samir, a diligent worker who found himself in this exact situation. As Samir's reputation for reliability and efficiency grew, so did the demands placed upon him. Every task completed on time, every project handled with care, only made him more of a target for the tasks others didn't want to do or didn't have time for. The more he did, the more was asked of him. The stress of this began to mount. It was like a backpack full of stones, each stone representing a task, and with each new task, another stone was added. The weight was becoming unbearable, and yet Samir, ever the willing horse, pressed on, carrying the burdens of others alongside his own. But as the days turned into weeks, then months, fatigue began to creep in. His energy waned, his enthusiasm dimmed. He was burning the candle at both ends, and there was only so much wax to go around. His hard-working nature had led him to the brink of burnout, and it wasn't just his professional life that suffered. His personal life began to unravel. His relationships strained under the weight of his constant fatigue and stress. His health began to falter. His overall well-being was compromised. He was no longer living, only existing, a willing horse burdened with a load too heavy to bear. Yet, despite all this, Samir pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and responsibility. He became a living embodiment of the proverb, "All lay loads on a willing horse." But it was clear that this could not continue forever. The heavy burden was taking its toll. Like a willing horse, Samir was loaded with more than he could bear. So, what can we learn from Samir's situation? Like Samir, many of us may find ourselves bearing the weight of excessive responsibilities at work, simply because we're reliable and dedicated. It's easy to become the willing horse that everyone turns to. However, it's crucial to remember that setting boundaries is a vital part of maintaining workplace balance. Saying no is not a sign of weakness or incompetence. Rather, it's an indication of self-awareness and respect for one's own limits. Overburdening ourselves can lead to burnout, decreased productivity, and even health issues. Maintaining a healthy work-life balance requires us to prioritize self-care. We should not allow our workloads to become so heavy that they compromise our well-being. After all, we can be of no use to others if we're not in good shape ourselves. Remember, even a willing horse has its limits. So, what's the takeaway from Samir's story? Let's round it up. Hard work and dedication are admirable traits, ones that can propel us to great heights. Samir, the metaphorical willing horse, carried his burdens with grace and diligence, but it came at a cost. His workload increased, his personal life suffered, and his own aspirations were put on hold. It's a tale as old as time, one that resonates with many of us. While it's important to be a team player and help out where you can, it's equally crucial to strike a balance. Remember to prioritize your own needs, dreams, and ambitions as well. You're not just a workhorse, you're a person with your own unique journey and story to tell. In the end, remember to carry your load, but don't let yourself become the willing horse that everyone else lays their burdens upon.